Hey, what's good, guys? Clutching Entertainment here, back another video. And for today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Houston Texans. And I recently made a free agent video of different guys that I would like to see the Texans possibly bring back that are already on the team. Guys like Jonathan Grenard, Dalton Schultz, Devin Singletary, guys like that. And then guys that I would like to see them at least try to bring in free agency. Guys that I mentioned are like Chris Jones, possibly, even though I don't think it might be too realistic. One guy I'm really advocating for is Saquon Barkley, Justin Imadabuke from the Baltimore Ravens, different guys like that, Legarius Need. I mentioned guys like those. So if you want to go watch that video is, of course, on our channel. But the point of this video is to talk about the Houston Texans are entering a phase where it's starting to get really, really ramped up in a way. Like, you already have your quarterback, you already have your coach, your GM knows exactly what he's doing, and it looks like we have a very competent front office that are all working together. And I think we're entering that final phase. I don't even want to say of the rebuild anymore. I feel like the final phase of the rebuild was this past season, and I feel like we passed that phase. Now, I don't want to say that we're contenders, but I definitely do think we're in the phase where it's time to really start adding players to this team that's going to help us win a championship. I think we already have the core of our team set up. Of course, as I mentioned, we have the quarterback, we have the head coach, we have our number one superstar pass rusher, Will Anderson. We have our cornerback who can follow the other opposing team's elite number one receiver, like Derek Stingley did with Amari Cooper in the playoffs, and Zay Flowers, who, by the way, he limited Zay Flowers to 2 catches, 22 yards, I think it was, even though there was a clip of Zay Flowers talking about Stingley, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I had him in a blender or whatever he said. That's definitely not the truth. Derek Stingley actually held him to only 2 catches while he was on him, so that's far from the truth. But yeah, we have guys like Christian Harris as well, who's also pretty much a building block. But yeah, this team, they already has its core foundation, I feel like. The offensive line, I feel like it's already ready to win now. Let's not forget that we did have guys hurt last season. So this past offensive line, it was okay, it was solid, but then you have to take into account, it was a makeshift offensive line. It wasn't our full starters. Kenyon Green, of course, wasn't there. Tytus Howard wasn't there. Juice Scruggs didn't get to play center. He was playing left guard. So it's going to be a completely new-looking offensive line next year. We could possibly see Kenyon Green starting at left guard. We could possibly see Juice Scruggs back at center, the position we drafted him to be. And we can also see Tytus Howard at right tackle. So the offensive line, that's already set. Like, we already know what it's going to look like. It should be an elite offensive line on paper, at least, bearing maybe Kenyon Green, maybe he continues to struggle. But I feel like we have some backups like Jarrett Patterson. Maybe if we decide to bring back Kendrick Green, who got hurt last year. We have a Kenyon Green and we have a Kendrick Green. Both, at least Kendrick Green, he showed some promise. I really liked what I saw from him last year. I think he got hurt in the Pittsburgh Steelers game, but for the games that he did play, I really, really liked what I saw. I think he could be a contributing piece, whether it's a starter or whether it's rotation, or not a rotational guy, but like a backup. But yeah, the point of this video is just to say that the Texans, I think they're in the point of again, I don't think they're in a rebuild anymore, but I think they're in the point of where you need to start adding not just superstars, but you need to start adding guys who are going to come in here and help you win that championship, help you go on that Super Bowl run. We've seen different teams like the Los Angeles Chargers do it. We've seen the Philadelphia Eagles do it. We've seen the Buffalo Bills do it. The Miami Dolphins do it. And all of those teams, what do? For the most part, they made major trades, major moves, major signings. For example, the Chargers, they went out, gave J.C. Jackson a big old bag. Obviously, in the long run, it didn't end up working out. But they gave J.C. Jackson a pretty big bag. They traded for Khalil Mack. They took Quentin Johnson in the first round. There's multiple moves that they've made that have shown that they're going on this championship run, that they're trying to build around Justin Herbert before they had to pay him. But, of course, as we know, that didn't really work out too well. Personally, I really liked what the Chargers did. I thought they were going to be a very good team. In the end, they weren't, but I really liked what they did. I thought they had a lot of promise. I loved the way how they built that team up. behind Justin Herbert, but it didn't work. And then when you look at the Eagles, what did they do? They made a major trade. They went out, got A.J. Brown. They got Kevin Byard in a trade. They drafted Devontae Smith, giving Jalen Hurts more weapons. They went out and signed DeAndre Swift. And they added some pretty key contributors to that defense as well. So these teams, they're going out there, right? They're getting these big name, not just big name guys, but they're getting these guys who are going to come in and make major contributions. And I mean, these guys that they go get, most of the time it's a trade or it's like a free agent sign, and they're not just going out there and signing def guys, right? They're going out there and signing guys who are going to come in, be starters and day one contributors. And I feel like that's exactly what Houston needs to do, not just in the sense of drafting and signing free agents, but I definitely do think they should at least inquire about maybe making a trade for a superstar wide receiver. I feel like getting C.J. Stroud and this Texans offense a superstar wide receiver would definitely help. Now, there are different guys who have been rumored to possibly be available or possibly not really be happy with their situation on their respective teams. Those guys have been A.J. Brown. Now, personally, I don't really like... I mean, obviously, A.J. Brown is a great player, but I don't like his attitude. I don't like his ego. He's a great receiver. I don't think anybody can deny that whatsoever, but I just don't think he's the right guy to bring into this locker room who's already considered themselves a family. You already have a family in this locker room. You already have the team already gelled together for the most part. I don't think you want to bring a guy like A.J. Brown who I think you can say has proven to not be the best locker room guy. But one guy that I definitely really would like to see Houston potentially target is CeeDee Lamb. Now, would Dallas make him available? I don't know. But CeeDee Lamb was very frustrated at the end of the season, and we did see his mom take to Facebook saying some stuff like, Dak Prescott, something about Dak, something about how they didn't have faith in Dak or something. And then somebody left a comment saying like, he should go play with CJ or the other Texas team. And the mom was like, yeah, he should, or something like that. But CeeDee Lamb's even his own mom agreed that he should go to the Texans and leave the Cowboys. So is it realistic? I'm not sure. But if I'm Houston, if I'm Nick Caserio, I'm definitely at least trying to make a move, or at least inquiring. How much would that cost? I don't know. But CeeDee Lamb is definitely a top 5, top 6 wide receiver in the NFL. And he would bring a whole new dynamic to this offense. I think this past season, he had like close to 1,500 yards receiving, if not more than that, with, I think, double-digit touchdowns. So he's clearly a wide receiver 1. He would let Nico Collins solidify that number 2 role, which I feel like is best for him. He's that guy that he's a trustworthy guy, right? Like he's an elite. I think he can be an elite wide receiver. I just don't think he's ever going to be that number 1 consistent game in, game out guy. He did have a great run of games at the end of the year, but I just don't see him being that number 1 guy. I feel like we still lack that. And if you're a win now team, if you're trying to look for those final pieces, building around your rookie quarterback, you go out and you put pieces like that, like CeeDee Lamb or with C.J. Stroud. And, I mean, I feel like that would be the right thing to do. Maybe not necessarily exactly CeeDee Lamb, but I think you need to get a receiver. In the draft, I mean, I'm open to taking a receiver in the draft, but I definitely do think taking a receiver or trying to trade for a proven elite receiver could be an option and definitely should be an option. But yeah, another guy, I don't think he's going to be available this offseason, but maybe next offseason is Jalen Waddle. I don't think Miami, I think obviously they want to keep him, but I don't think they're going to be able to keep him. They still have to pay Hill. I think they have to give Hill another contract pretty soon. So they're going to have to pay Tyreek Hill another bag soon. Who else they got? They're going to have to pay Javon Holland pretty soon. They got to figure out what they want to do with Tua. Are they going to want to pay him? Are they going to move on? Who knows what they're going to want to do? And I'm just not sure they're going to have enough money to pay Jalen Waddle as well. So maybe not this offseason exactly, but next offseason, I feel like they could make a run at Jalen Waddle. Let's not forget that I'm not sure if he's from Houston or if it's from Texas or whatever, but I know for a fact he has some type of relations with the state of Texas, and I think with the city of Houston as well. I'm not sure if it was he grew up a Texans fan or if he was, I forgot exactly what it was, but he has some type of correlation to Houston. And I think he could definitely be an option next offseason to help C.J. Stroud, get him another receiver, get him some more receiver help. But yeah, adding talent to this team when you're in a win now mode is definitely should be the key priority, and I think Nick Caserio and D'Amico Ryans know that. I think they're gonna be able to, I think they're gonna try to do that this offseason, adding different free agents, possibly making some major trades, maybe even trading up in the draft for a guy like Malik Neighbors. He's probably gonna be a number one receiver in this league. Personally, my favorite receiver outside of Marvin Harrison, but Marvin Harrison, let's be real, that's just not going to happen. He's going to go top 3, top 4. Malik Neighbors, I feel like he's a more realistic target. Houston will probably have to trade to around that 10 range if you would want to have a chance to get him. I'm not sure if they'd be willing to make another trade up in the draft and give up more capital to do that. But when you're in a win now mode, you make those type of moves. And I'm not sure if Houston would be able to make that type of move. But all options are on the table right now, as they should. You're trying to win. You have CJ on a rookie deal. You don't have to put him on the cap books for another 2 to 3 years. You don't have to get Will Anderson on the cap books for another 2 to 3 years. Derek Stingley for another 2-ish years. So you have guys all on rookie contracts. Try to build a nice team around them. And again, as I said, I think the Caserio is smart enough. Obviously, he's proven he's a smart general manager. He's going to do just that. I'm very excited for this offseason and next offseason too. But yeah, I mean, it's been Clutch City Entertainment. Let me know what y'all guys think. Which major names or major additions would y'all try to make, considering Houston's in a win now type of mode. But yeah, it's been Clutch City Entertainment, and I hope you guys have a good day. Peace.